and welcome to episode 26 of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast about crochet, sometimes knitting, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live with my husband. You can find me on the interwebs as the Cozy Cottage Crochet, although I am most active on Instagram. And I do have an email address set up for this podcast, so if you have any inquiries or questions or anything related to the podcast specifically, please shoot me an email. That will ensure that I see your email and respond to you. It is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Well, how are you? This is a very exciting episode. It is, first of all, episode 26, which I can't believe we're up to 26 episodes. And second of all, it is my 1-year Podiversary. Yay! 1 year ago, today, which is April 14th, it's 2018 right now, but April 14th, 2017 is when I hit publish on my first ever podcast episode. I cannot believe it's been a year. In that year, I have podcasted every 2 weeks, except for 2 times where it was 3 weeks. Once I was out of town, that was just recently. And then there was one time in December when I came down with a horrible cold. So I wasn't even able to podcast because I couldn't talk. So I really can't believe it's been an entire year, that it's been 26 podcast episodes. I never thought, I don't know what I was expecting, but certainly I am so thrilled with the community that we have found, with everyone that I have met and connected with online. You guys are the absolute best. And to say thank you for this, I have a special giveaway. I have been saving these things actually for quite some time because I wanted them to be really special. So for my Podiversary giveaway, there will be 2 giveaways. One will be a YouTube prompt, and you will have to leave a comment down below, and the other will be in my Ravelry group. So let me show you these fabulous items that you might that I might mail you if you win. So first of all is a bag that I have been saving for months and months. It is a beautiful zippered project bag that has a little boy and a little girl collecting fireflies. And this is what the other side looks like. This is a bag made for me by my lovely friend Barb, who I've mentioned a few times on this podcast. She sent me quite a few bags last year for giveaways, and a couple for myself. And I have been saving this bag specifically because it was so special to me, and she's been a supporter of this podcast since the very beginning, and I just want to share this gorgeous bag with you guys. So I've been saving this bag specifically for this purpose. So this is what it looks like, and it's got this crazy awesome lining, and then it also comes with a DPN cozy. Now, if you don't knit, that's completely fine. This is the perfect size to fit a crochet hook in so that you don't have to go digging around in your bag. So this beautiful bag will be part of prize number 1. And also there will be a skein of yarn. So what I am sharing with you guys is some of my favorite things. So that beautiful bag that she made, it was so special. And then Anna of Moon Tower Dye Works, which if you've been around for any length of time, you know that Moon Tower Dye Works is my absolute favorite indie dyer on the planet. She can take all my money. In fact, I just ordered another skein from her like this week because I needed it in my life. So she sent me this and she said I could keep it. Don't tell me that. You know I love your yarn, but I'm not going to. Okay, I'm going to send it out as part of this giveaway prize because I want you guys to be able to experience how beautiful this yarn is as well. And it comes with this tiny little perfect stitch marker. So this is the colorway Whitney is a Unicorn. It is 75/25 merino nylon. It is incredibly soft, and I adore these colors. Like if I could make a whole sweater out of this, oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. This would be so beautiful in a sweater. So this is going to be one prize. And the second prize is another beautiful bag This was made by my lovely friend Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, and she sent me this a while ago as well and said that I could keep it or use it as a giveaway, and I've been saving it because of how important it is. So Claudia, I've told you this. But for the rest of you who don't know, her podcast was the reason that I finally pulled the trigger and started my own. She was so sweet and so encouraging, and without the Crochet Luna podcast, the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast would not exist. So when she sent me this bag, I knew that it had to be a giveaway for you guys to show how much we appreciate you. It's got this beautiful green lining, and she made this herself. It's a drawstring bag, and it's pretty good size. This is definitely a medium-sized project bag. So I think it would fit 3 skeins in a project comfortably. So this is prize number 2, and also you will be getting a ball. It's balled up because I hand balled it. So it's not in skein form. It used to be. This is Knit Picks 100% baby alpaca yarn. It is a lace weight. It is their alpaca cloud base, and you get 440 yards in this one ball of yarn. It's beautifully soft. This is the yarn that I used on my leaf lines shawlette that I was wearing in the last episode. It's so soft, and it's pink, and I just think that it goes perfectly. And there will probably be another couple of odds and ends in the giveaway as well. I have a couple of minis that I'm going to put in, and we'll see what happens. So, but you know for sure, each giveaway is at least going to have a beautiful handmade bag and a skein of yarn. So here's how you enter this giveaway. To enter the YouTube giveaway, what I need you to do is leave a comment down below and tell me what your favorite moment of the podcast has been in the last year. And if you're a new subscriber, you can still totally enter this giveaway. Just tell me what your favorite moment is of the podcast that you have watched. Now, you must be a YouTube subscriber to win the giveaway. So I'm going to use a random number generator and draw a winner by the next time that I podcast. And if you are not a subscriber, then I'm going to pick another number. So if you want to win this prize, you must be a subscriber, because this is specifically for the people who have been supporting this channel and being so encouraging and so lovely. It just fills my heart with so much joy. And in the Ravelry group, I will open up a thread where you can answer a prompt. You will have to go into the Ravelry group. You have to actually join the Ravelry group. So again, if you're not a member of the group, you won't be able to win the prize. And then I will pick a winner from that as well. So there'll be 2 winners, and I should be able to get those out in the mail to you around the end of April, because I will draw in 2 weeks. Right before I record the next podcast, I will have these winners picked out. So good luck. I hope that you are the winner, whoever you are. I'm excited for you to get these special items that I've been saving just for this. And to everyone else, just know that I appreciate you so much. I do this every 2 weeks because I love it, and because of all of the wonderful community that I have been able to be a part of in the last year. It's just been fabulous. So thank you times a billion from the bottom of my heart. I love you all, and I'm excited to see what the next year is going to bring. I've got a lot of exciting plans, and you guys will be along for the ride. Couple of administrative things before we jump into the yarny goodness. 1, in the Ravelry group, you may notice that there is quite a few new threads open. There is a finished object party where you can post anything that you're working on. And there's an Ask Me Anything thread, etc., etc. So go check out the Ravelry group. There's all kinds of things going on in there right now. That is the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast Ravelry group. If you just search for it in the groups tab, it will pop right up. And then the other thing is, if you asked me a question in the comments on the last podcast episode, I might have answered your question in a special video that came out last week. It was called the Cozy Corner Q&A, and I sat down and answered some questions that you guys have been asking. So if you have a question that you would like me to answer, leave it in a comment down below, and perhaps your question will be selected for a video on this channel, which would be very exciting. Okay, Cal news. 2 very important things. Number 1, the Knitted Knockers Cal we have 2 weeks left. So it's going to be still until April 30th. That is the deadline for your knitted and crocheted knockers. And let me just tell you that I counted on Thursday morning all of the knockers that are posted in the finished object thread so far on Ravelry. 75 pairs. 75 pairs of knockers. That's 150 total knockers that have been posted on the Ravelry thread. Oh, I'm so excited. That means, you guys, that we are going to make a difference in the life of 75 or more women through our Yarny community. And I am so grateful and so excited. There is still time. Please make sure you get your finished objects in the finished object thread so that you can be eligible for prizes. Now, I will be I'll be drawing prizes from the finished object thread and from the Instagram if you use the hashtag knitted knockers cal, and from the chatter thread. We have all kinds of lovely prizes, which I've shown off, and I even have one more to show you at the end of this episode. So there's going to be quite a few prize packages, and it's awesome. And also just the joy of knowing that you helped someone, helped a woman who had to go through the terrible ordeal of breast cancer. So if you're still working on your knockers, I know I am, get those finished up and get them posted. April 30th is the deadline. So anything posted after that, I will send you lots of love and positivity, but you will not be eligible for the prize. That is wrapping up the Knitted Knockers Cal. But in exciting other news, we are going to be starting a new cal. So we have spent the last 2 months, well, 6 weeks, but it'll be 2 months by the time that the next cal starts, spreading the warmth to other people. Women who have been going through breast cancer, who have had a lumpectomy, a mastectomy, and need that knitted or crocheted knocker. So we've been spreading the warmth to other people. Now, on May 1st, we are going to start an entirely new cal for you to spread the warmth to yourself. So you've helped other people, now it's time to show yourself some love. And I am calling this cal the Love Yourself Cal. That is going to be the hashtag Love Yourself Cal. And the reason for this is there are so many of you, and I've had so many lovely conversations through Instagram, through Ravelry, through email of you, and you tell me what you're making, and they're beautiful, but they're always for other people. So as a crochet podcaster, I have been making a lot of things for myself in the last year, but this is something I definitely struggled with before that, because when I started podcasting, I had a total of 1 blanket that was mine. My husband has a knitted scarf that I made him ages ago, like 10 years ago. Oh, you guys, I'm getting old. So that's 2 things. I had 2 things, and crochet was my hobby. So I was crocheting quite frequently, and I had literally nothing to show for it. They were all gifts given to other people, and that's beautiful and that's fine. But I know a lot of you are always crocheting things for other people. And what I want you to do is to show yourself some love. There is one rule and one rule only to this crochet along. The object has to be for you. You. It has to be staying with you. It could be a shawl, it could be a sweater, it could be a hat, it could be gloves, it could be socks. You can crochet them, you can knit them, you can embroider it. It's kind of a make along, although we are using the hashtag Love Yourself Cal. But it has to be for you. And if it's a household item, it has to be something that you are going to use. So if you're making a blanket, that's completely fine, but it has to be going on your bed. Or it has to be the blanket you're gonna turn to on the couch to snuggle up with. If you're making a pillow, that's absolutely fine, but it has to go on your bed. If you wanna make a bathroom rug, that's completely fine, but it has to go in your bathroom, okay? This is not for other people. This is 100% a selfish crochet along because you deserve it. And if you've been, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to use up some beautiful yarn that you've been hoarding, or to go spend a little bit of money on yourself and make something beautiful. If you have a pattern that you've wanted to try and you just haven't gotten around to it because you've been so busy, this is your excuse. This can be your total excuse. And if you have someone who's like, I don't know why you're spending money on yarn, be like, listen, I have to. I'm part of a crochet along. There could be prizes. I mean, there will be prizes. We'll talk about those in May. This will be a 2-month cal, so it will start May 1st and it will end June 30th. June has 30 days, right? 30 days has September, April, June. Oh, June and November, yes, 30. I'm sorry, that was a tangent. Okay, so May 1st to June 30th, that will be the dates of the cal. The hashtag will be Love Yourself Cal. I will accept WIPs as long as they are not more than 50% done. So if you've been working on a project for yourself and you have not set aside that time to show yourself some love, I will accept that as long as it's not almost done. So 50% or less of the project needs to be completed. And it needs to be a project that you enjoy. Please don't fight with yourself over a project for 2 months because you want to make something but it's not bringing you joy. This needs to be something that you love because you're worth it, okay? We are always doing things for other people, especially women are always doing things for other people. Not that men don't. I realize that sounded a little sexist. But women are often consumed with their families, with their households, things like that. And they tend to ignore themselves. So I want you to show yourself some love. Join the Love Yourself Cal and make a project that is just for you and something that brings you joy. And I'm gonna open up a chatter thread already in the Cozy Cottage Ravelry group. And then you can kind of tell me what you're working on. I would love to know. If you have any questions about that, leave them in a comment down below. I'll talk more about it in the next episode as well. Whew, that was a lot. I've been talking for 15 minutes already and we haven't talked about yarn. So let's jump right in. What am I wearing is my Treasure Island shawl because it's so bright and cheery. It's so gray outside today. I don't know why. It rained like all day on Tuesday. I pulled up the weather and it said there was 100% chance of rain. 100%? So yes, it poured for hours and hours and it hasn't really gotten any better. Outside, it's just kind of a little gloomy and I needed some brightness in my life. So I'm wearing my Treasure Island shawl, which is a pattern that I released a month ago, 2 months ago on Ravelry. I'll put a link down below. And I'm working on some other exciting things, which I will show you in just a moment. But first, let's talk finished objects. I really don't have any. I have a couple finished objects, but they're very small. And you can probably guess what they are. They are knockers. That's my only finished objects. So they're living in a beautiful bag that was made for me by Lorna, who is a viewer of this podcast. I believe the last time I podcasted, I had a set of A's done. So 2 A cups. And I had, I think, a set of D's done. I think? I don't know. So I think I had 2 sets done. In the meantime, I have completed a set of B's. So I've got A, B, and D. I have 1 C. And then I have half of a C. But this is gonna have to be frogged because I have the wrong stitch count. I don't know what it is. I had 0 problems with the A's, the B's, or the D's. But the C cup, oh no, it's already getting frogged. I didn't even realize that was coming out, which means I've dropped a stitch marker on the floor and I'm probably gonna forget about it to pick it up after this podcast, and then someone's gonna step on it, probably my brother or my husband, and it's gonna stab them right in the foot, and I'm gonna hear a horrible cry of pain from the kitchen, all because I have to frog a knocker. So the math doesn't work out on the pattern. So for a C, you're supposed to have 72 stitches, I believe. Let me look, that's probably a lie. Oh no, 72, I was right. And then you're supposed to decrease according to the pattern until you get to 15 stitches. The math doesn't work out. You can't get to 15 from 72 by subtracting 6. It doesn't work. You get 18 or 12. So I just added an extra row where I only decreased 1 in each corner, so 3 stitches. So I got to 15 and it looks, I mean, it looks the same, but there's an error in their pattern. So that threw me off on the first one. And then I did this one last night with some girlfriends. We were over and we were watching TV and I don't know what happened, but I am 3 stitches off on my gauge, on my stitch count. So I'm gonna have to frog this probably back to the beginning and then just do it again. But that's okay. I don't mind doing that. I think I'll have enough yarn to get a C, and then I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to make 2 more A's or not. I'm gonna weigh it. That might be enough for a day. It would be awesome if I could get 5 pairs of knockers sent off, but we'll see. So next time I should have the C's done, and then hopefully I'll be able to use up the rest of the yarn. That is my only finished object. Oh, I went a little crazy, and pretty much everything I'm about to show you I didn't talk about in the last episode. I've been starting all the projects. Oh, but you know what I have to do first? We have to have a segment called RIP. Insert crazy howling noises for like Halloween. Because I have to frog something. Last time I showed you a pattern in top-down crochet sweaters, which is the Magda cardigan. This is a book by Dora Orenstein, and I was 2 rows in, I believe, and it had been sitting in a bag for a long time, and I restarted it and I re-gauge swatched and blah blah blah. Well, I got my 4 rows, so I'm back to where I was and I'm going to frog this. I know, painful, but I don't like it. And it's not the design so much as the way the cables are coming up. So you work this back and forth in rows, and hopefully you can see this. Right here on the cables, on every other row, there's a giant hole because the cables kind of skew your work a little bit. And it even shows that in the actual book itself. So if you can see this picture, see all those little holes on her shoulders? Those are the cable holes. And I really don't like that at all. Which is sad because I love the color and I love the idea of having a crocheted cable sweater, but I just don't know the way the increases are worked on this. It contributes greatly to the holes. So the increases are all right next to these cables. Like look at that. That's huge. I can stick my finger through that hole. And I just don't like it. And I'm only 4 rows in. So life is too short, y'all, to be working on a cardigan that I'm not going to like. So I'm going to frog it. And then I'm going to find something else to do with this yarn. I'm going to make a different sweater pattern. So I know I said that last week. I hopefully would have some progress on that, but I got through 2 more rows and now it's going to go right in the bin. Not really, it's going back on the yarn ball, and I'm going to repurpose the yarn for something else. So let me show you the only whip that you saw last time. It happens to be the sock that I'm working on. Everything else you haven't seen yet. This sock, I'm using Sockmatician's Toe Up sock recipe. That's where I was last time. This stitch marker, and now I am almost starting the cuff. Maybe another inch or so and I'll start the cuff. This is what I'm calling my gym sock. It's still totally a Pippi Longstocking sock, these crazy stripes, but except for the heel, I have only been working on this sock at the gym. So the way that my days work generally is I work in Tampa. I get off work at like 3:30 so that I can beat the traffic because I live in St. Petersburg and the traffic is horrible to get back to my house. So I leave at 3:30 and then I go directly to the gym because they have a class that starts at 4:30. And so I usually get there around 3 or 3:10 and then I change and do a little bit of stretching. So what that means is I have like 15 minutes, 4 days a week to work on this sock because this is the project that I've been keeping in my gym bag. So for 15 minutes, I just work on a sock. And then the next day when I go to the gym, I work on it for another 15 minutes and you would be shocked. I mean, maybe you're shocked. I don't know. I feel like I'm shocked. That's a lot for 2 weeks of gym knitting. Although, like I said, I did not do the heel at the gym because I don't know what I'm doing and I need to look at the pattern. So I'm kind of excited about that. I think after this pair of socks is done, I'm going to do some ankle socks because this is gonna be too hot. Like I'm not gonna be able to wear this until January because it's hot in Florida, right? Okay, I have 3 other works in progress. And I think you're gonna be really excited because I'm really excited to tell you that I have started 2 new cardigans. 2 in the past 2 weeks. The first one is living in this Christmas ornament bag, which it is in fact Christmas ornaments, but I think from far away it looks like candy, which was sent to me all the way from the UK by Charlie from the Love Charlie Crochet podcast. And what I am making is the Summer Diamonds Kimono Cardigan by One Dog Woof. This is a free pattern. Let's see if I can show you. That's kind of a picture of it. It's black and white, sorry. I've had this printed in, just sitting on the little table next to the couch for months. Months and months and months this has been printed. Maybe like summer last year. I don't know if it's quite a year, but I've had this printed for so long. So what happened? In fact, the last time I recorded a podcast episode, I said, I'm gonna go to Joann's after I record this, and I totally did, because I had a coupon. So I went to Joann's for the purpose of buying a sweater's quantity of yarn to make the Everyday Cardigan by Sewrella, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Joann's was having a sale, and I was able to get that yarn 2 for $5, and then I had a 25% off your total purchase coupon. So I only ended up spending $20 at Joann's on a sweater's quantity of yarn. So then I went to Michael's and I wanted to try a new yarn that they have had, and it is the Joy DK. So this is 100% acrylic. It comes in a ball, which is kind of fun. Not like an actual round ball. And it is a DK weight number 3, 100% anti-pilling acrylic. And I got 7 of these for another 20 bucks. So I spent my entire yarn budget for the month because I hadn't spent anything really at all in March. And I'd been saving my pennies specifically to buy a sweater's quantity of yarn. But because they were having such a good sale, I spent $20 at Joann's and got a sweater's quantity. And then I spent another $20 at Michael's and got a sweater's quantity. I got 7 of these. They were 2 for $6, so they were $3 each. I don't know what they normally are, but they're more than that. They're probably $4 or $5 each. And here is a fun tip. If you have a Joann's and a Michael's that are close to each other, they accept competitor coupons. So I had an additional 20% off your whole purchase coupon on my Joann's app, which Michael's let me use because they accept competitor coupons. I don't love Michael's to buy yarn, at least the one near my house, because they have like 1.5 aisles of yarn. It's a really small selection, and they don't have a ton of coupons. Like, you can get a 40% off coupon, or they'll give you sometimes a coupon off of your regular price purchase, but you can only use one. So if you have a 40% off coupon that is in your email and the one that's on the app, you only can use one. It's the same code. But Joann's has different codes. So if you have a coupon on your email and one that they texted to you and one that they mailed to you, you can use all 3. So it's really awesome that they take competitor coupons. And whatever store you're next to, they probably take coupons, I would ask. I know that, like, I don't have a Hobby Lobby anywhere around me, but if we did, then they would take those coupons as well. So I got 7 of these for $20. It's amazing. I have used 3.5 already. And are you prepared to be amazed by the level of progress that I have achieved? I have completed the entire body. This is the kimono cardigan. So you start on this side. You start with a really long panel, and then the entire thing is double crochet stitches and chains. So that's how you create this fantastic pattern. I'm not really giving anything away because it's a free pattern. So if you just Google it, it will pop right up. So you do this whole long panel, then you do the middle, and then you do another long panel. And that is where I have stopped. I have completed the entire body of the cardigan. So now what I need to do is seam up the sides to probably like right here, And then I can start adding the sleeves, not the armholes. You don't add armholes, right? That comes built into the cardigan when you seam up the sides. So once I add the sleeves, then you have a ribbing that you do on the outside and on the neckline. So I do still have a fair amount of work to go, and it's work that's gonna require a little bit more paying attention than it would so far, because this has been so mindless and so easy. This is the one I have been turning to the most. I have really enjoyed working on this. And I love the pattern. I just think it's perfect. The one thing I will say about this is I have been really conscious, because this is kind of lacy and open, is I've only changed skeins of yarn at the end of the rows, so that weaving the ends in will not create a lump, because it would be hard to weave that in without seeing it. So I've only changed those at the ends of the row, which has left me with this much of 2 balls, like hardly anything, not enough to do a whole row with. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind when you're working on a pattern like this is to just look at it after every row, because if you get off by a stitch, you can clearly see it if you would just look at your stitches. Because I have looked at this after every row, just taken a quick cursory glance, like, does any of the chains seem out of place? I only, in this entire cardigan, have only had to frog half of 1 row. And guess what row that was? Too self-confident, did not look at my stitches. So that should be a lesson. Just take a glance at it. And this is awesome. I have really enjoyed working with this yarn. It's very soft. I can't really speak to how it washes up because it hasn't been washed. I haven't blocked it. This is the first time I've ever used this yarn, but it's so soft. And just the feel of it going through my fingers has been enjoyable. So far I recommend it. I'll let you know. It says it's anti-pilling. I mean, so far there's no pilling. But I haven't really used this at all, and it hasn't been washed and blocked. So we'll see if it pills, if it lives up to that claim. But I really like this, and I am pretty excited to have a neutral cardigan in my life, because I really need that. I have a problem. I need more neutrals in my life. I have a problem with picking only neon colors. I mean, is that a problem? Not really, right? You make what you love, but I need something that will go with everything. So that's a fantastic project, and I cannot believe how fast it was. But wait, there's a whole nother cardigan that you haven't seen. So let me show this one to you. This was the cardigan that I was intending to make. It is the Everyday Crochet Cardigan by Sorella. That is a free pattern on her website, although I think you can buy it on Ravelry, but on her website it's completely free. I am using Deborah Norville Everyday yarn, which is a worsted weight 100% anti-pilling acrylic. Now, I've never used this yarn for a garment, mostly because I haven't made a lot of garments. But I have used this yarn in the past to make hats for people. I've had quite a few hat commissions from the same person, and I have used black and gray, and I really like this yarn because of how soft it is, and it's really squishy and bouncy. Like, it's just got some body to it. And again, this was on sale, so this was 2 for $5 at Joann's, so I got 6 of them for 17. No, I got 6 of them for 15 bucks plus a coupon. So I got this yarn. I did have to go down a hook size to get gauge, so she calls for a 6.5mm hook on her pattern, and I had to go down to a 6mm. I believe that that is because her pattern calls for Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca yarn, and I'm kind of concerned that I might have a sensitivity to alpaca. I don't know. I don't want to test it out on a whole sweater. I want to knit another or crochet another shawl out of alpaca first and see if it really does bother me. I did not want to spend all of the money on something that would be irritating me. So I went with this, and I think that the Touch of Alpaca yarn is just maybe fluffier because it has the alpaca in it. And yes, this is black. I am all about the neutrals right now. I have had a stern talking to with myself and said, you need more neutrals in your wardrobe. You need to have a black cardigan that you can wear anywhere, and you need to have a gray cardigan. And I will tell you, when I was at Joann's, I was like this close to buying the hot pink version of this yarn. Oh, it was so hard, but I restrained myself. I did not do it. Next time. Let me show you how much I have done of this. The whole body and a sleeve. Although the sleeve is a sad story that I will tell you about in a moment. So the way that you work this is you start with the back panel. And I know that you probably can't really see this because it's black. Well, maybe you can see it like that. So you start with the back panel, then you do a front panel just off of the back. There's no shoulder seam, and then you attach yarn and do the other one. Then you seam up the sides. So these sides are seamed. That is the right side. And my seam, this is my seam on the inside, which is pretty good with a mattress stitch, if I do say so myself. And then we have these armholes. Now the sleeves, so I did this whole back and two front panels last Saturday and Sunday. Like I spent all day working on it pretty much, and then all day Saturday. And all day Sunday after I go home from church. So that's pretty much the only time I've dedicated to it. And then I added the sleeve. Now, the sleeve is almost done. I have maybe 5 or 6 more rows to go, but I'm gonna have to frog it because I don't love how it's fitting. In the pattern, she calls for a bottom up sleeve, which I did not want to do because I was concerned about the sleeve fit. So I started from the top, and she calls for, I don't remember how many stitches you're supposed to have at the top of your sleeve, but when I went around and basically picked up stitches, crocheted to make the armhole so it could go this way, I had 49 stitches, and maybe I was supposed to have 41 or something like that. So it's okay. I've been doing this in turned rounds so it doesn't skew. But let me show you. This is the sleeve. So it fits, right? Especially right here, it fits really well, and it fits really well under the underarm. But right here, look at that. That's too much material. I can't deal with that. I don't like it. And I'm not gonna spend all of this time on a cardigan that has sleeves that I don't like. So I'm going to, as much as it pains me, frog this sleeve back to where the decrease start, and I need to start those earlier. And I thought that it kind of might be like that. And I've been trying it on, but I really couldn't tell how poofy it was right there until I got down here. So once I'm done with the sleeves, I'm kind of on Sleeve Island right now because I don't want to. Like, it's black yarn. It's not the most interesting crochet pattern in the world because it's just half double crochets over and over. But I know that I will get a ton of use out of this cardigan, so I really need to finish it. So I'm gonna frog the sleeve, and then I need to do 2 sleeves, and then you do your neckline. So there's a rib that goes all the way around, and then there is a rib that goes around on the bottom. The yarn so far is super soft. I'm excited to see how it washes up. The pattern does fit me, like it fits pretty well. I have 2 complaints about this pattern, and they're very specific. And I hesitate to complain because it's a free pattern, but one of them is a pet peeve, and one of them I feel like is an actual issue. My pet peeve is she does not tell you whether the chain 2 at the beginning of the row counts as a stitch or not. Like, just tell me. Just, like, that's one sentence. Tell me what you were originally intending. Does the chain 2 count as a stitch? Because if not, okay. And I could always do my own thing anyways, but it would be really helpful to know. So that's a pet peeve. The other issue that I have with this pattern is that there are no sizes. And by sizes, I mean the pattern comes in small, medium, large, and I think extra large, it should say. Actually, extra small, and it goes all the way up to 4X. And it tells you in the instructions how to do that. So like if you're chaining 20 stitches for the extra small, it'll tell you to chain 40 for the extra large or something like that. So it gives you the stitch counts. What it does not give you anywhere in the pattern is measurements. So you have no idea how big the small is actually supposed to be, or how many inches wide the medium is, or how long the arms are. There's no schematic, there's no bust measurement. Like, at least give me a bust measurement. Tell me if this is gonna fit me. So I scoured Ravelry, like way into the depths of this project pages for this pattern, because there's tons and tons of people who have made this, and it seemed like it was fitting kind of true to size, like a medium would be like an average medium. So that's what I went for, is a medium, because I have a really bad habit of overestimating how big I am. Like, I'm always making things in the large size and then they don't fit, they're too big. But I'm also afraid to make things in the medium size because they're too small sometimes. So I really need like in between a medium and a large so that it'll fit under my arms, across my bust, and lengthwise. So I'm making a medium. So far it fits me, and I think when it's done it will fit pretty well. I may have to block it out with an iron just slightly to get an extra 2 or 3 inches out of it, which should be no problem because it's acrylic. But I don't know, like, if you're gonna make the everyday cardigan, I feel like you should be aware that there are no measurements anywhere in the pattern, nowhere. And you can buy the pattern on Ravelry, and I thought about buying it to see if there was a schematic in there, but I didn't see any notes from anyone that indicated that there was measurements for this cardigan. So I didn't want to buy it and then still be left in the same situation. So I don't know, that's kind of a big issue to me, even though the pattern is really simple and I love the pattern and it is fitting kind of true to size. Like, I'm happy with the size that's coming up. I feel like a bust measurement at least is the minimum that you need if you're gonna put out a cardigan pattern. So, have you made the everyday sweater? If so, let me know, and let me know your thoughts on it, because I really have enjoyed making it. I mean, until I have to frog this sleeve, but that seems like an issue to me. There's one more whip. This is also something you did not see in the last time. I have been starting projects like crazy. So it is living in this beautiful flower bag that Rebecca, who is Tree Frog Yarn on Instagram, gifted to me quite a few months ago. She is incidentally also a moderator in the Cozy Cottage Crochet Podcast Ravelry group. So she gifted me this gorgeous bag. And from the time that I received this bag, there's been yarn living in it, waiting for me to start. And the yarn that's been living in it is this, ooh, sorry, I just knocked the camera. Sorry if that made you a little dizzy. This beautiful 100% bamboo fingering weight yarn by Kristen Amdahl, who, this was gifted to me by Barb. She sent this to me quite a long time ago, and it came with that beautiful firefly bag that I showed you before. She sent me 2 skeins, and I have been waiting for the perfect project for this yarn. In fact, I have tried to force this yarn into 3 separate projects, and it was not happy. I've never worked with 100% bamboo yarn before, so it does not, it's kind of like cotton in that it does not stretch. So this is the yarn. I'm pulling on it. It is not changing length at all. So it's very firm yarn. It's a beautiful color. It's got this is coming up like super well in the camera. It's got this shine to it. This is in between. I mean, she calls it a fingering weight, but I would say this is in between a lace and a fingering weight. Because a lace weight, you'd get like 800 something yards per 100 grams. And a fingering weight, you'd get like 400-ish. This one, you get 600. So that's in between. I have 2 of them. I have tried to force this yarn into patterns, and it did not want to be those patterns. And I refused to make it into something that it didn't want to be because it's so pretty. Like, this has to be really special. So finally, this past week, I sat down and I just asked the yarn, like, what do you want to be? Let me just start crocheting with you and see what happens. And I could not be more thrilled with the result. This is going to be my next pattern release. Oh, I'm so excited. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. it is going to be a lace wrap. So this is how much I have done. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll also see a sad frogging video, because you know what I did is I did a gauge swatch, and I figured out how many repeats I would need in this weight of yarn to get 20 inches wide. And then I did the first row and I was like, no, that's too long. I'm gonna cut down the repeats. I know better than that. What a silly thing to do. And guess what? It was only 16 inches wide. With like some stretching, it was about 16 inches wide. So I frogged it, even though I had 10 pattern repeats done. It was 10 tall. I frogged the whole thing and I started over, followed my gauge, and I could not be happier. So this is about 18.5 inches wide unblocked. When it's blocked, it will grow another 1.5 inches and it will be 20 inches, which will be perfect. That's about how long you would like most wraps or stoles are. Oh man, it's so pretty. Let me give you a close-up. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little flower pattern. We got little buds. They're like little tulips. And that's it. It looks complicated because it's lace, but this is actually only a 4-row pattern repeat, and it's incredibly easy. The only challenging thing would be if maybe you've never worked with a fingering weight yarn before, to kind of get your hands used to that, because this is small, and this is extra small because it's in between lace and fingering. So I'm using a 2.75 millimeter hook right now. I am going to gauge for regular fingering weight yarn because I know that the majority of people are going to use that yarn to make this, so I will work out the math on how to get it to be 20 inches wide with that as well. Oh man, I just want to take this everywhere. I worked on this at the beach. I've been carrying it around, and I'm so happy that this yarn is finally something in a project that's amazing. And I just love it. I love the lace pattern, and I can't wait to wear this. It's gonna be perfect for the summertime in Florida. 100% bamboo, and I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but it's going to be named after a beach or something like that around here. Just like my Treasure Island shawl is named after a beach. I think I'm gonna have a whole collection of patterns named after beautiful, peaceful, serene beaches or cute places in Florida, because it'll be the Florida collection, because this is perfect for Florida because it's bamboo and it's lacy. So that is my work in progress number 3. I'm just in love with it. So keep an eye out. I will have to get that to my pattern testers, and once I write up the pattern, I wrote down the pattern a little bit, but I obviously need to gauge for regular yarn first, regular fingering weight, and then I will send it out to them. So it'll probably be another month or month and a half before the pattern is ready, but I'm really excited about that one. So that is all I have been working on. I say that's all I've been working on, like I didn't just show you 2 cardigans that are 2/3 of the way completed. I do want to show you one more prize that has come in for the Knitted Knockers cow. This is from Lovely Z, who lives in California. She has been a long time viewer of this podcast, and she really is supporting the Knitted Knockers cow, and she had this beautiful skein of yarn in her stash that is by Dragonfly Fibers. It is 100% superwash merino, and it's a plump fingering weight because this is 335 yards to 4 ounces. So look at that. That's so pretty. Like, and this part is blue and yellow. Oh, I just love it. So she was so generous and donated this out of her own yarn collection, and someone who has contributed knockers to the Knitted Knockers cow will be winning this. I'll be putting together all of the prize packages in the next 2 weeks, and then once the cow closes, what I'm going to do is probably all the prizes will be a surprise. So when I draw your name and you're the winner, you're not gonna know what you're getting, because I think that's exciting. It'll just show up in the mail when I get your address, and then it'll be like a complete surprise. but I will record a separate video that has all of the prize winners listed on it. I will contact you if I can through Ravelry, but if for some reason I can't, then you'll have to get in touch with me. So that's why I want to record a separate video. It'll probably be 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long to tell everyone who the prize winners are so that we can make sure I get those prizes to you right away. So thank you so much, Z. You're so generous, and thank you for watching the podcast and being such a long-time, lovely supporter of this channel. You're the best. And then finally, I want to give a special shout out to 2 people who are fabulous, and you should know about them. First of all, another viewer of this podcast, her name is Nicole, has started a crochet podcast of her own. It is called Derab Creations. I will put it on the bottom of the screen, and then I will put a link down below where you can click on it. So far, I believe she has 4 episodes. I have been watching since episode 1 or 2, I believe. I love them because the fabulous thing is, so she does all these yarny creations. She does some commissions, so there's a lot of variety, but also her day job is a bookseller. So if you're looking for a book recommendation, she gives you one at the end of every episode. That's fabulous. And actually, funny story, she recommended a book at the end of the last episode called The Axeman's Jazz. And I was like, oh, that sounds like something my husband would like. And he's been looking for a new book to read. So I went on Amazon and I was like, I'm gonna see about this book. And I typed in The Axeman's Jazz, but she's in Canada and I'm in the US. So in the US, we have a different cover for that book. And when it popped up, it's just The Axeman for the US. And I was like, oh, he already read that book. So it's a good thing I looked it up before I ordered it and like considered it, because it's true. That was a perfect recommendation for him because he has read that book and he loved it. So I just thought that was really funny. So go show her some love. Go subscribe to her channel. I think she's fabulous. And then secondly, Clarizabeth, who is the fabulous person behind the Crochet Cakes podcast. Her mom has the Mind and Muse podcast. They used to do it together, but then she moved to Florida, and now she has opened her Etsy shop. So her Etsy shop is Dainty, I believe it's Dainty by Crochet Cakes. I will put a link down below. She is selling these beautiful handmade bags, project bags, and also notions pouches, which are shaped like a teacup. So they're adorable, and I love her podcast, and I love her as a person. And you guys should go check out her Etsy shop and show her some love because she's amazing and deserves your support. Whew, okay. It has been a whopping 52 minutes already that I have been talking to you guys. I feel like I've been talking 100 miles a minute. I'm very excited. I cannot calm down because this is a Podiversary. And I'm just so excited and so thrilled and so blessed to be able to spend a little time with you guys every 2 weeks. It's something that I look forward to. This is not at all anything that I have to do out of obligation or something that I'm like, oh, I have to podcast today. No, I get very excited about podcasting. I love to communicate with you. I love the comments that you leave. I love interacting with you on Instagram and Facebook and Ravelry. It's just the best to know that there's people out there in the world like you guys who are so full of love and so full of kindness and love to crochet and love to knit and basically are making the world a better place through yarn. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. I'm excited to see where we go in 2018. I hope that you will enter the giveaway, and remember to leave a comment down below. You can have 2 entries if you would like, because you can enter the YouTube giveaway and the Ravelry giveaway. So leave a comment down below on YouTube letting me know what your favorite part of this channel or podcast has been in the past year. And then in Ravelry, there will be a separate prompt as well for you to answer. And I will draw some winners next time. And until I see you again, happy crafting. I hope that you have the most fabulous April. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Sending you so much love. Bye.